Game number 5 of the countdown. This is 2010 Baldwin Wallace. Week 6, BW came in, nationally ranked the top 25, 5-0, and we were 4-1. We were also nationally ranked. So a huge game for leverage or momentum, leverage with the national rankings, positioning yourself for pool C consideration for the national playoffs. So just a huge, game. Whoever wins that game is going to be in a great position for that. We came out, we scored first. They tied it up, so it was back and forth a little early, 14-14, early in the second quarter, and then we kind of got on a roll. Defense settled in. Offense scored 3 times in the last, I believe, about 7 minutes of the second quarter, including one with 10 seconds to go, a long pass from Kyle Simmons to Ryan Fleming. So a great way to go in the half at 35-14. Came out in the third quarter, we scored again to get that lead up to, or actually with a field goal, to get it to 38-14. And they scored to cut it to 38-21. And we'd put another field goal on to kind of get it back to a 3-score lead, and then held them late. So that's kind of the rundown. We'll get the video going here and kind of start talking about some of these great memories from this really important football game in that 2010 season, which was a historic season of playoffs and playoff wins and a national ranking in the top 10. This is a fourth down play early, Devin.
Yeah, fourth down, kind of a big one to kind of get that momentum going, as we talk about scoring 3 touchdowns pretty quick. Little over route here to Priest, kind of finds the hole, sits in there. Good timing, good ball, and keeps him protected and gets the first down.
Jay Priest, pretty tough dude. He probably told that, had a few words with that safety right there. I get a feeling right there.
A few words for everybody, probably.
Got the lead, got the little ISO there with Evan, I think, trying to get an angle there on some guy.
Yeah, a little inside wham there from Elliott, and Brent rushed for 150 in this game with 3 touchdowns. So this was kind of par for the course on this day. But yeah, it just looks like the little lead ISO.
The thing that was impressive, like with this O-line, you think back, was I think we had 3 new starters this year after that 2009 team, which is a really good football team, really good O-line. Some new guys in there, and guys like Evan were really important. He's a really football player, always seemed to kind of get himself in a good position. There's a big play, I think, after that first down.
Yeah, so this is the beginning of the Ryan Fleming show. I think 200 yards on 4 catches and 2 touchdowns. So, pretty solid average for the day. 55-yard, the old run fast play, just runs by everybody. Good ball, and kind of a sign of things to come, with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool to see him that year have such a good year. He had been patient. He had, he's one of the fastest guys we probably ever had in our program. I mean, he's an All-American in track, and he could always run, but he had some good guys in front of him. And this year, he just really kind of broke out and had an outstanding season. High school coach now down in Tampa. So why don't you set this up? You remember the situation here, Devin, right at the end?
Yeah, so I think there's, 15 seconds left in the half probably at the snap.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
We're up 2 scores, so kind of take a shot here, see what happens, but, definitely kind of comfortable going in up 2. And again, Ryan gets loose. Safety gets lost a little bit on the double post, and, Kyle gets it to him just in time before he goes out of the back of the end zone. And that was kind of the deal breaker, right there, going up from – you go in there up 14 and all of a sudden you're up 21. And, obviously that makes a big difference. And just the momentum aspect for both teams of a big score, big touchdown, long touchdown right before the half.
When you can see that double post, that the inside post ends up occupying both safeties, we get that isolation. He just great throw and catch and route. Good play design. Well, Glenn, we kind of settled in after giving up a couple scores early, and this group up front, we had a pretty good front 7 this year.
Yeah, this whole defense had just a ton of personality. Loved to play football. Whether it was someone like Marvin Mitchell or Jesse Richards, Josh Bowman, or the stout guys, Mike Prokpovich, Trivia Hendrickson, Cody Kelly up front. I mean, Jeff Butler's in there on the action a little bit. Vince Callaway at corner. I mean, this was just a really fun group to be around. Chad Coward, I think, is out there running around. He's a great effort player, and some of these guys. So just a real fun group to be around. They just had a lot of personality.
No doubt. No doubt. And I think, there were so many just really solid football players who played really, really hard. Jesse this day, what do you have, like 17 tackles, I think, there, number 18, Jesse Richards? I mean, just
and a pick, I think. I mean, when you have two safeties that are both 6'3" and can run, like the wind, and, Marvin's running ability was second to none. And, just the energy that these guys brought to the table, it was an awesome group to be around.
Not many people ran a power read back in these days, Devin. We see them play quite a bit now, but we were able to really get Kyle to make some good decisions with this play.
Yeah, I think what you have here is obviously Kyle he could do everything. He could throw and run, but then you get a guy like Cedric coming across there, who maybe didn't get as many touches as he probably would have in really any other year, and so there's just a lot of weapons out there, and obviously anytime Kyle ran it, we all held our breath a little bit, but he was so good at it, you kind of had to do it, and luckily he stayed healthy.
I know you have a few stories about that particular year, waking up in the middle of the night, just feeling like there was a pass protection.
Yeah.
Make sure it wasn't one of your guys, but
speaks more.
Kyle was such a great decision maker. He just always kept his poise and just really made good decisions. Now, Blair Ellenberger had been a soccer guy who was friends with one of our seniors the year before, Andrew Benchik. We knew we had a senior graduate in Jake Hafey, and he was done with soccer, so he came out and played football, and he was all conference. 1 year of football was all conference. Blair Ellenberger kicked 2 field goals in this game that ended up kind of helping us extend that lead.
A lot of the toughness, I think, from this defensive unit also, I think, came from, the defensive backfield. I mean, that's one of the more talented ones that we've had, probably in the top, say, 5 or so of the last, 15 or 17 years. I mean, that all started with the toughness that someone like Eric Wensler would showcase, and the leadership and stuff like that. So, the front 4 here and the front 7, I mean, those guys had to hold the standard that some of those guys, the Jesse Richards and the Bodemers, and the Eric Wenslers of the world, they weren't going to let anyone slide. So, just an all-around great effort by the whole unit and some great leadership. What's most memorable about these guys is the personality was just awesome with this group.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one of Eric's plays in this game got cut off, but Eric was such a smart football player, and he recognized the split in the second quarter, and he knew what route was coming. He jumped a route. He got an interception, gave us the ball, I think, on about the 21-yard line. So I know if I didn't mention that, he would probably be texting me to remind me about that too. So, no, and shout out. I didn't forget about that play. Just some bad video on that one. Big play here by Vince.
I think this team too, I mean, wasn't this the first year that we had come back from the Germany trip? Wasn't that the spring before?
It was our second. We had 2
second trip,
but this
Italy?
was our second one. Yeah.
Italy.
Yeah.
So
Italy, correct. Yeah.
I think those first 2 trips, in 07 and 10, really resulted in just a closeness of the whole group. I think too. Just got our guys motivated in a way that only one of those trips could help.
No doubt. Really good turnout on those trips. Big play there. Got a few plays left right here. So now good use of formation by Coach Rothenbuehler to get a little stake here, Devin, to get a little extra time.
Yeah, just kind of move the pocket a little bit, use some of that, the play action stuff, and then only about 35, 45 yards on this one for Fleming, so probably his shortest catch of the day. But hit him on the over route and, just another explosive play.
200 yards. What we saying? 4 catches? Wow.
Yeah, 200 on 4 catches is what I got.
Impressive, but also a good reason to bust Coach Troy's chops and say, give him the ball a couple more times, right?
No, there's no question.
Have to give him a hard time. Good pocket movement here. I think hitting Evan, or I can't tell. Is that Evan? It's a little blurry on that one. If it's Evan or Ryan on that one right there. Now, late in the game, we got a pretty comfortable lead, but if they can score, they can kind of make things interesting here. And the defense really stepped up right here, Glenn.
Yeah, a lot of the coaches in the coach professionals say areas like this are all about attitude, and our guys, had the right type of attitude, really this whole year. They weren't going to back down from anybody. And I think this was 2 or 3 straight, stops for the stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe even when they didn't need to, it wasn't like we were going to give up a lead, but they had something to prove every single snap. And, these guys just continued to grow. Cause I think this was middle of the season, right? An October game.
Yeah. Game 6.
4-1 or something like that. 4-1.
Yep.
So, it's easy sometimes to kind of maybe let one of these get punched in because you don't think too much harm will happen. But, the attitude these guys had, the personality, that's where it really shows itself on situations like that.
Good deal. Well, that was that was first and goal, I think, on the 1.5. So really 4 straight stops. And again, great point that it really, the game wasn't in jeopardy, but it shows that attitude. So fun group to talk about. Not to give anything away, but this group might come up, down the stretch these last 4 games. So we'll have going over these last 4 and appreciate it, fellas. Have some fun going these last 4. So appreciate it. Go Bears.
Thanks.